Welcome back to the unit on fractions and decimals. Today's lesson is about solving real-world problems with fractions and decimals. The goal is that you can solve word problems that involve more than one calculation with fractions and decimals. And I'm not going to focus so much on the actual calculations like multiplying which number by which and so on, but more on the plan and making sure that you have answered all the questions completely. So let's start with this, where we have a situation where there's a fish tank in the shape of a rectangular prism, and we have some questions about the volume of water in the tank. So the first thing to do is to draw a model. So I'm going to draw a rectangular prism, just a rough drawing. It doesn't need to be like very precise, just 10 feet long by about 8.5 feet wide, or 8 1/4 actually, sorry, by about 6 feet tall. So like this. And the volume of the tank, this is A. I will write my formula. Volume is length times width times height, and it is 10 feet by 8 1/4 feet by 6 feet. And 8 1/4 feet, you need to convert that to an improper fraction and multiply them out, and you'd get 495 feet cubed. And this is something important to note. Write your units. It's important to write the units. Then the second question, question B, the caretaker fills the tank 4/5 of the way. What's the volume of the tank now? So I'm going to go back to my model and go about up to here. And so the height of the water is going to be less, and the volume on the tank is going to be less, because it's only filled 4/5 of the way. So my plan is that I will multiply the number I got in A. So it's multiply the volume by 4/5. That's my plan. So my volume is 495, and I'm going to multiply that by 4/5. 495 over 1 by 4/5, and I get 396. And again, I need to write my units, feet cubed. So just noting here my units. So I want to point out a few things. I drew a model, I wrote my formula, I made sure I put in my units, and I made a plan. And finally, I'm going to look and see, does my answer look reasonable? Have I got a smaller volume when it's only 4/5 full? And yes, I do. So that seems reasonable. So let's do a problem with decimals. So Alison paid $21.75 for some number of packets of rice crackers, and 3 packets cost $1.45. So how many packets did she buy? So I'm just going to draw a small model. So if she buys 3 packets, that costs $1.45, and she bought lots of 3 packs to get up to $21.75. The question is, how many 3 packs did she buy? So I'm going to divide 21.75 by 1.45, and I get 15. Now 15 what? I got 15 3 packets of rice crackers. So 15 3 packets is actually 45 packets. So it's important to label your work as you go. If I could have just said 15 packets here and missed out on the fact that it's 3 packs. So 15 3-packs means that she got 45 packets. And I'm writing my units, 45 packets. Now, if she was to buy 60 packets, would $30 be enough to pay for them? So I'm going to start off with saying she bought 3 packets for $1.45, and she wants to get 60. So I'm actually going to calculate the cost for 30 first, because it's easy to say 3 times 10 is 30. 1 times 1.45 times 10, or $1.45 times 10 is $14.50. And then double that to get 60. So multiply it by 2 and multiply $14.50 by 2, I get $29. So will she have enough in $30? Yes. They only cost $29. So I had a plan. I calculated for 30 first and then for 60, and I noted my units, drew a model, and does it seem reasonable? 45 packets for 21.75 and 60 packets for 29? Yes, those numbers seem about right. So to summarize, it's helpful when you're solving word problems to draw a model, make a plan, label your calculations, check that you answered all your questions. Let's go back and make sure that we did. Let's go back to here. We had 2 questions. What's the volume of the tank in cubic feet? And when it's only 4/5 full, what's the volume? And yes, I answered both of those. And then in this problem, how many packets of rice crackers did she buy? She bought 45. And would she have enough in $30 for 60 packets? Yes, I answered that. So check that you answered all of the questions. We did check as we went that our solution is reasonable and state the units. So our goal for today was that we'd solve word problems that involved more than one calculation with fractions and decimals. And that's the end of today's lesson.